conservative activist to become a top podcaster and, as you heard, an ally of the president. He had been widely seen as helping build support for Donald Trump among young people, launching Turning Point USA in 2022 to reach out to young conservatives, including people who often felt shut out of politics and who rarely voted. There is a Turning Point USA chapter at LSU where Kirk was scheduled to make an appearance similar to the one today in October.
House Speaker Mike Johnson said political violence violates the core principles of our country.
We need every political figure, we need everyone who has a platform to say this loudly and clearly. We can settle disagreements and disputes in a civil manner, and political violence must be called out, and it has to stop.
Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill reacted, saying political violence has no place in our society. Congressman Steve Scalise called for prayer. Fox 8 political analyst Mike Sherman says political rhetoric in the U.S. has been heated and divisive.
Andres Fuentes shares his reaction to today's violence.
Right, and Mike Sherman says with Kirk appealing to that younger, more conservative-leaning American, the shooting will send shockwaves across the nation. Sherman also says that while violence like this is unacceptable, there are recent examples of shootings for political reasons.
I wish I could say my reaction was one of shock. It's disgusting because political violence is never acceptable, but with the partisan divide having been so great and the political rhetoric so hot, assassination attempts of the president during the campaign cycle, Gabby Giffords being shot not too long ago. Political violence is not unfamiliar in America.
Now, Kirk does leave behind a wife and 2 young children. He was 31 years old. Louisiana GOP also put out a statement this evening calling the violence horrifying and appalling and saying that their hearts break for Kirk's wife and children and supporters. It also calls for unity.